to another watch along. We've got Sturm Graz against Nottingham Forest tonight in the Europa League. Oh, hey, I've got the scoreboard going all skew with. Nottingham Forest at the Merkur Arena tonight in Graz, Austria. Formerly the Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadium, I think, or was that over the road from this one? Remember Liverpool played at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadium not that long ago. When was that? 2004? It's a long way back. Anyway, Sturm Graz against Nottingham Forest in the Europa League. We'll go through the lineup shortly. I can see the chat's already coming in. Good to see everyone. How are we all doing? YouTube, TikTok. Good to see you. For Sturm Graz, it's Christensen in goal. Iwu, Gorenk, Stankovic and Geerhofer at the back. Malic, Horvat, Hody and Karic in midfield. And then Kiteshvili just off Malone and Rozga as the two strikers. And they've started quite fast, to be fair. Yeah, they started quite quickly. Do expect Forest to win this one. Overwhelming favourites. Forest have gone John Victor in goal. They've dropped Matt Sells for tonight. Marato, Milenkovic and Savona with Nico Williams at the back. Dominguez, Yates, Sangare, McAtee, Gibbs White and Callum Wendo. So it's a much changed Forest side tonight as well. Ronnie Dodge, Key, my favourite Scouser. So that's so kind of you, mate. Very nice of you to say. I don't imagine you've got too many, so it's almost a compliment, isn't it? Right, what are we saying on TikTok? Jake, how's it going, Jake? Good to see you. And yeah, we've got two games tonight. Sturm Graz against Forest, and then straight after this one, I'm doing Palace. Doing the Palace game. Palace against RZ Alkmaar straight after this one. 3-star Reds, relax Key, the Forest boys are in town. Big changes though, it must be said, mate. Very, very big changes in this one. I mean, you've got a good bench. You've got Murillo on the bench. You've got Ndoye, Sells. That's actually it, to be fair. Sells, Ndoye, Murillo and Bolly are the only names that I really recognise for Forest. You've got Abbott, Hammond, Sinclair, Thompson, Whitehall and Willows on the bench with him. It's a very, very inexperienced squad. Hudson-Odoi, Hutchinson, Igor Jesus, Chris Woods, Zinchenko, Douglas Luiz, Bakwa, Tayo Awonyi and Aina, all of them left behind. They're not even travelled tonight. So let's hope for an early one. Slovan Bratislava have scored against Kups in Finland. There's an early goal. Still 0-0 everywhere else. Midtjylland are playing Celtic at the moment as well in Denmark. My second team, Midtjylland tonight. I'm really rooting for Midtjylland tonight against Celtic. AK and Shamrock Rovers still 0-0. AK Larnaca against Aberdeen as well is also still 0-0. There's nothing else really going on elsewhere across Europe. Later tonight, Shelbourne played Drita. Any other somewhat British teams? No? That's pretty much it, to be honest. Ronnie Dodge, after seeing the United v Forest, I would love United to try and get Anderson from Forest. Oh yeah, and no Elliot Anderson as well. I can't see Anderson going to United. Personally, I think this sounds awful because United are a huge club, but I think they aspire to better. Maybe I think he will go to a Champions League club, and I don't see Manchester United being a Champions League club next season. Do you? Realistically, Daz, if Slot says Isak is fit for Sunday on the bench, when do you see Ali back and Frimpong also? What's your 11 for Sunday? I mean, Ali, we don't know. Yeah, Alisson, we don't know. I think I wouldn't rush him. I would be quite happy with Mamardashvili. I think he's done well so far. Dynamo Zagreb 0, Celta Vigo 1. There you go. Fast start. Duran scored. Yeah, I'm quite happy with Mamardashvili. So I'm not in any rush really for Celta Vigo. I'm not in any rush for Alisson to come back. So take his time. Make sure that he's right. And then Frimpong, again, yeah, I think that one was meant to be a bit longer. I think that one's like after the international break, so it might be next month. It might genuinely be December before we see Frimpong, sadly. And Roddy Dodge says, no, if we get any European football, it's going to be the Conference League. At a push. Yeah, maybe Conference League at a push for Manchester United. I can't see him getting the Champions League. No chance. Easty, how's it going? And Ian Davis, will LFC win on Sunday against City? I think so, mate, yeah. I think so. I think there's a very good chance of it. And Mawson, what 8 PM game are you watching? I'm watching Crystal Palace against AZ Alkmaar. Just a word, by the way, if you do want to go and see the full schedule of games that I'm covering, you can always go to YouTube. The full schedule is listed there. And you can watch them on there. You can watch them on Twitch. You can watch them on TikTok. 3-Star Reds beat them in the UEFA Cup last 8 when Cloughy was gaffer to reach that dodgy semi against Anderlecht. Want to get through the league stage and get our revenge in the knockout stages. Forest will do well, I think, in this competition. Yeah, I'm expecting them to do well. Daz, what's your 11 for Sunday? I think I'd just go the same. I'd go unchanged. I don't think I'd change it. I'd keep Wirtz in there. That's the only real question, isn't it? Is whether or not does he bring Wirtz out and put Gakpo in? That's a possibility, I think, maybe, given that City's right side is a vulnerable one, isn't it? And I feel like if we don't have Gakpo occupying the right side, they could exploit us going the other way. And Wirtz will drift in. So I'm inclined to think he might maybe put Gakpo in for Wirtz and drop Wirtz back down to the bench. What are we saying? Sorry. Thanos says, booing Trent was unneeded. At least as a Newcastle fan, we'd have a reason to boo Isak. Why? Why would you have a reason to boo Isak? We do have a reason to boo Trent, and that just shows your fundamental lack of understanding of the whole situation there, Thanos. Taylor, evening key, hope you're doing good. What game are you doing later? Palace or Villa? Palace, mate, yeah. Doing Palace. T, Gabriel or Konate? I mean, I wouldn't swap. We've talked about this before. I wouldn't swap Gabriel for Konate. No. Will Villa beat Maccabi Tel Aviv tonight? Yes, I think they will quite comfortably. And Zach, the things Haaland will subject your defenders to will not be PG. Well, listen, he didn't do it against us last season. I mean, he only did it once to us. I don't see why we can't. That's a foul, sir. That's a foul and a free kick to Forest. Must be. Will Forever, have you seen that the away fans from Maccabi Tel Aviv have been banned? Yeah, they have. Yeah, I think they've been banned as a result of the violence that happened in Amsterdam. It's the last. They're to punish from that, aren't they? I'm sure that it was a punishment from the last game. Or one of the last games, anyway. Right, free kick to Forest here going forward. Will, quite right though. Too much drama with Palestine. Well, I mean, to be fair, mate, that's nothing to do with it, or at least that's not. You've got to distinguish between the people and the country, haven't you? So just because a group of people who enjoy the football won't necessarily cause issues, however, that group of fans has caused issues in recent games against Ajax. So I think, given the form, yes, they have to, but I don't think. Oh, very nearly 1-0 to Forest. Yeah, given the recent issues that went on in Amsterdam, I think it's probably right that they don't go. Papa John's, would Key be a good manager? Probably not. No, probably not. In fact, almost certainly not. I've been a manager before. I don't think I'd be a good manager. T, I've already answered that one, mate. Yeah, you asked it a few minutes ago when I answered it, mate. 3-Star Reds, great to see Dominguez back. Where's he playing tonight? Is it a back three for Forest? Or is he pushed into midfield? Don't know if it's like a more of an anchoring position or a sweeper. I'm not really sure what he's gone with here. Daichi. John, how many FPL points you on? Honestly, mate, I don't really check it. I think I've set it up. I've done this pretty much solidly for the last 10 years. I set FPL up and then I don't play it. I literally forget about it. Easty, does the fact there are no fans for Maccabi mean it's better for Villa? Possibly, yeah, possibly. I mean, that's probably an advantage, isn't it, that you don't have fans there? I'm sure the Maccabi Tel Aviv players will feed off the atmosphere inside the stadium, though. Obviously, they'll want to go, and sometimes it can be better. It can be easier that way because you're playing. You've not got the support of your fans, but you then feel the players sort of, the fans on your back. Do you know what I mean? The home fans on your back, and it can spur you on. 3-star Reds, you're above me, Key, that's for certain. Right, it's a free kick to Sturm Graz here. Still 0-0 pretty much everywhere in the Europa League tonight. Will Forever says, who's the best player for Sturm Graz? Probably the number 10, Kiteshvili maybe, or maybe Gorank Stankovic. He's kind of the long-term central, centre back. I think he's probably up there. Gorank Stankovic. Stephen, Liverpool must have won after the battering after Man United and Palace up the Borough. What do you mean? Oh, he's back. I'm back Listen, there's one thing you can throw at me, Stephen. You can say, he's a Liverpool fan, blah, 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 he's biased, he's this, that and the other. I always turn up. Even when we've had a battering and we've lost 5 or 6 on the spin, I'm still here the next day, aren't I? I'm not cowering away. I'm not disappearing and hiding under a rock until Liverpool start winning again. I'm right here, front and centre, taking the stick. Easty, did you see Yamal's goal for Barca? I didn't, mate. No, I've not seen the Bruges goals or anything like that. It was sublime in the Messi class. To be honest, I saw a goal from Thierry Small for Preston North End yesterday as well, which was definitely in the Lionel Messi class. Absolutely world class. Will Forever says, do you think Rangers could do Roma, or are Roma too strong for them? Roma, yeah, I imagine. Personally tonight, I think both of the SPL lose tonight. I think Rangers get beat against Roma at Ibrox, and I'm almost certain that Midtjylland beat Celtic in Denmark tonight as well. Yo, where can I watch the match? You can watch it on TNT Sports, mate. That's where it is tonight. TNT Sports 1. Demir Heitinga sacked by Ajax. Time for him to come back? I don't think so. No, I can't see it. To be honest, he wants to manage. He wants to manage, and that's what he wants to do. So you've got to let him go. Sometimes it's the same with the Pep Linders. Pep Linders wanted to manage. He went. It didn't really work out, and then he went back and became a number 2. So maybe Heitinga, once he accepts he doesn't want to manage now. I don't know, but it feels to me that he's got ambitions to manage, and I expect that's just what he does. Right, corner for Forest here. Corner for Forest. Come on. Let's have an early goal here, Forest. Nice early goal. Dimir, but didn't Pep Linder say that he won't be anyone's number 2 after Klopp retired? Well, he might have done, yeah, and then he's become a number 2 again, hasn't he? Will Forever says, Kevin and Babu, the ex-Wolfsburg player, his hair keeps getting longer. He's like the United Strand fella, isn't he? United Strand. Fiorentina have just scored against Mainz in Germany. That's a big goal for Sohm for Fiorentina. Gelato, what's your take on the protests that are taking place at Villa? I have no interest in it, to be honest, mate. Doesn't interest me, doesn't concern me. No view on it. Don't know enough about it, to be honest. Yeah, it's not football. If it's football related, I'm happy to talk about it. But I don't know anything about it. I have no interest in it. Demir says, surprised you ain't watching Red Star Belgrade v Leon. Seems much more exciting. Well, do you know what? There's quite a few of the games from last night that we probably should have watched instead of Newcastle. I think the Barcelona v Club Brugge game was unbelievable, wasn't it? And we decided to watch Newcastle 2, Athletic Club Bilbao 0. And Forest have had one off the line there. Celje 0, Legia Warsaw 1. Midtjylland very nearly scored against Celtic as well. Shay472 says you did tip Midtjylland from the start, Key. I did indeed. And Stephen King, you're always back, but you don't accept two dearest, battered and bruised. Glad to see you win again. 3-star Reds went down the Richard Masters Forest route today when freshening up my FPL team. To bring Haaland, I took a 4-point deduction. Ooh, unlucky. Demir says Vert's long-term left-wing solution. We don't know. We don't know. It's questionable. He could play left-wing. He could play through the middle. I think where he plays is less of a concern right now because I think if he plays like he did against Real Madrid, we just need him on the pitch. He can play from the left, but it gives us a slightly different challenge, doesn't it? Kane Selden, good evening. How's it going, Kane? Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about Wirtz? Where should he play? Because it feels harsh to be dropping Gakpo as well. I think Gakpo's been really, really good. And doesn't make a lot of sense, I don't think, putting Wirtz out wide. That's why I have remained pretty consistent with I think Liverpool end up playing a 4-4-2. And I'll die on that cross. I will die on that hill. I do absolutely believe that's where it ends up going. Soberslai, McAllister, Gravenberch, Wirtz. Midfield 4. Demir says, weird thing is Wirtz at left wing is constantly shifting. Sometimes central mid, sometimes centre forward. Ekatiki rotates with him. Yeah, and that's fine because that's kind of how PSG and other teams have played. Certainly in the last couple of years, we've seen teams have more of a dynamic front line, haven't they? You know, you'll see the right winger pop up on the left and they'll switch sides and sometimes they'll go centre forward. And even Salah's done that for us in recent years. Salah will go through the middle and then, you know, Firmino sometimes would drift out wide. It's relatively common, so I don't think... no player has a hard and fast position. You stay in this area and you remain disciplined to that area. I can't see it being like that. Will Forever says, Schmeichel's just made a great save. He's still a decent keeper for Celtic, yeah. Well, what are we thinking of this one? I mean, Forest certainly having the better of the play thus far. They've just skied one over the bar. 20 minutes in, they've had one cleared off the line already, but other than that, it's been pretty dull, pretty dour. Demir, the thing with Gakpo, he just isn't passing and everyone knows what he will do. He's energetic. Well, I think with Gakpo, he scores, he creates. I think if you've got players like Gakpo on the pitch, they'll harm the opposition. So I like him. I think he does work really hard defensively as well. He's one of them players who's often underrated, Gakpo, in my opinion. Chris Flaherty, how's it going? Noah 1, Sigma Olomouc 1. Will have Celtic almost got the whole Japanese national team? There's more Japanese players than Scottish. Surely that's not the case. And Demir says, man, sometimes Salah needs to pass. Could have been 2-0 against Real if he decided to pass to Wirtz. Yeah, to be honest, that's been Liverpool all season, though. That's not just Salah or Gakpo. That's been us all season. We've shot when we should have passed. We've passed when we should have shot. We've taken an extra touch and all this stuff. It's just been the way we've been this season, whereas it feels like we started to click up a gear recently. Shamrock Rovers have scored in Greece. Wow. Ian, will LFC beat City on Sunday? Yes. Yes, we will. Of course we will. Unlucky. Good effort that from Forest. Much better. Demir, I rate Curtis Jones. Him and Grav could possibly cook for the rest of the season. I feel like you can't drop McAllister, Gravenberch or Soberslife. They're fit. They all have to start together. And then it's the three that you play ahead of him. And I think in an ideal world you play Salah, Wirtz and Isak. If they're all fit. Salah, Wirtz, Isak just in front of them three. Will forever, Shaqiri just scored for Baal, the magic dwarf. That's going to be a throw into Forest. Sturm Graz not really able to get on the ball thus far. Again, it's a much rotated Forest side. Demi, at least we've got a proper right back now. Bradley. Now again, people have called him out all season as well. People have said he's not been very good. So, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You've got to remember, a good game doesn't necessarily make a player, and a bad game doesn't necessarily make a player. Plenty of people have been attacking Konate this season, haven't they? Think how much stick Konate has had, and then think how good he's looked the last few games, and think how good he's looked over the last few years. The guy's world class, and there was no point where I ever said, I got loads of stick for saying I wouldn't swap Konate for any other centre-back. And I still stand by that. I'm not saying he's necessarily better, but I don't think I wouldn't swap him. I certainly wouldn't swap him. If he wants to sign for us, then I would move mountains to keep him at the club. Absolutely move mountains. Demir, Konate is weird, but we need a backup centre-back. Well, we've got two. We've got Joe Gomez and we've got Leone. Obviously, Leone's injury complicates things, but we had 4 centre-backs, and 4 centre-backs is all you need. So I don't think it was anything the club did wrong. We've just been a little bit unfortunate. Joe Gomez has done well when he's played. He's the longest serving player at the club, so he's got plenty of experience. He's played in title-winning sides and Champions League winning sides. And yeah, Joe Gomez, I think we do need a centre-back, but only probably January time might be a little bit much. I'm not sure about Schlotterbeck. The problem with Schlotterbeck is if you bring Schlotterbeck in, that's a very clear sign that Konate is off. Gay. I think the ship's sailed with Mark Gay now. I'm almost certain that Mark Gay ends up either at Real Madrid or Barcelona. I think if Konate goes to Real Madrid, then we get Gay. But if Real Madrid go for Gay, Christ, there's a world where they actually get both, isn't there? I guess they could get Konate and Gay, plus Hyson, plus Militao. That's not a bad little back line. It's going to be a foul. Joe, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Demir, we already have everything signed. Only if he wants now. We're basically the leaders. Well, we had everything signed. We don't anymore. We don't have everything signed with Mark Gay anymore, because what we offered him as wages before isn't what he's not going to demand that now. You know that, right? You know that what we offered him before, he wants a lot more than that in January, and even more again in the summer. So it is a lot more complicated to do it in January or over the summer. Much, much more difficult deal. Unlucky. Unlucky. Nice 1, Freiburg 0. Could do with Freiburg getting a result in that one. Joe, decent little win last night. Yeah, it was alright, wasn't it? To be honest, they were awful, weren't they, Bilbao? They were absolutely awful. I thought you did okay. The goal from Byrne was really good. And then the header from Joe Linton just sealed it. But, yeah, you played well, you deserved the win, but I'm not entirely sure that Bilbao were a great test for you. All will be forgotten when we get stuffed by Brentford. Well, that's going to be a much bigger test, isn't it? And it's mad to say that when you look at a Champions League night against Bilbao, who were in the Europa League semi-final last year, and you think to yourself, well, actually, Brentford will probably be a much bigger test, and it will. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, that one. Demir, the atmosphere was amazing last night. Sturm Graz, are they in? Is it going to count? Ooh, I think he's going to be ruled out. Sturm Graz nearly 1-0. Very, very nearly 1-0 to Sturm Graz. Linesman's put his flag up. Let's just watch this back. Is this one going to count? Is it going to count? Oh, do you know what? It's very, very snug. Oh, I think he might just be a foot, maybe a toe offside here. There's going to be a check. Sturm Graz could be 1-0 up. Could be 1-0 up. Lou Harwood, good to see you, Lou. I think the same with Real. Barca have always been better. Real players overrated. And Demir says Diaz cooked PSG so bad they fell off. And Joe's starting to get worried with Elanga. Why? Why are you getting worried with Elanga? The fact that he's not playing as much, or when he is playing, is he not doing so well? 3-star Reds, Graz not looking confident according to the pundits. Forest need to take advantage. Well, Dice is looking a little bit concerned because they've still not given the goal either way here. Oh, they have now. They have now. They've ruled it out. Sturm Graz very, very nearly taking the lead. It was literally a toe in it. There was very little to keep Forest from going behind there. Lou says, Real are the athletes, Barca are the brains. It's kind of reversed a little bit that at times, I think, in recent years. And that's kind of been Barca's plight, I think. Why maybe Barca have struggled in recent years has been because they've tried to go a little bit more physical when actually they are the brains of football. They should have signed and embraced that rather than going to sign, big units and things like that. Whereas, yeah, Real Madrid, I agree, they go and sign the Bales and the Chouamainis of this world. Swifty, lucky as usual, Forest. And Joe, is that a sticker on your shirt or am I losing the plot? No, it is a sticker. It's a well done sticker from my little girl's school. She got one, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. She got one yesterday, day before. She came out and she got this well done sticker. She's got a smiley face on it. And when I picked it up from school, she stuck it on my chest and she said, "There you go, Dad. You know, well done. Well done. I don't know why. Well done. And red's your colour. You like red's your favourite colour, so you can have this. It's a boy colour. So there you go. So I got my little girl's well done sticker today. That's why I'm wearing it still. I didn't specifically put it on for the stream. I'm just still wearing it from when I picked it up. Demir says Cherky and Haaland look scary. Is Isak back for the City game? I don't think so. I think he might be on the bench at a push. Callum, what do you think? City v Liverpool predictions? You think City 1, Liverpool 2? Yes, probably not a bad shout that. 2-1 maybe. I actually think it's maybe more likely to be high scoring. Could be 3-2 actually. Nice 1, Freiburg 1. I like it. And Demir says Cherky and Haaland. Sorry, we've done that one. Lou, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets back in the day. A joke, an actual joke. They were great, weren't they? Joe, she heard you showed the game. 3-star Reds, Swifty, the Nottingham club with European pedigree will come through. Hey, listen, we've got cross-platform banter here, from YouTube to TikTok. Joe, did you watch us last night? I did, yes, I did the watch along last night. To be honest, it was a pretty boring game, mate. If I'm dead honest, there wasn't an awful lot went on last night. I thought the game was pretty dull. I saw that Gateshead got their arse handed to him though. I was thinking we mentioned you on the live obviously because York was beating Gateshead, and I said, oh, Joe's not going to be happy. Demir, if we draw, Arsenal can capitalise. They are cooking this season low key. Listen, Arsenal might well extend their lead and go ahead, but they will have moments this season, I assure you. Callum says, Key, funny, but the last 2 Liverpool games you've streamed and we've won, I haven't been here, so I won't be here Sunday because we won them both. All right, well, yeah, go on. You can be the bad luck charm. You can stay away when Liverpool are on. And Lou says, told you and Dyer's class, by the way, was in your live over a year ago saying it best dribbler in the league. Well, hang on a minute, he's not. Has he proved it yet? Has he validated those claims, Lou? In what world? All I have said about Ndiaye, by the way, I've never said anything about him, being a bad dribbler or anything like that. I've just said he's not going to justify a big transfer fee anywhere, so I think he'll stay at Everton. That's it. I've not said anything really terrible about him. He's a very decent player, but no more than that, and he will stay at Everton because no one's going to pay 50, 60 million plus for an Iliman Ndiaye who doesn't create chances. Doesn't create big chances, doesn't get assists. He's got 1 assist in 18 months. Pretty inconsistent as well. But, yeah, he's good for Everton. And I think that, like I said, I think there's maybe a case for him being... Some players are like that. And I don't mean that patronising, but some players are like that, aren't they? Sort of thrive in sort of less pressured environments. And then when they go to a club where there is... lots and lots of very talented players like that, maybe they don't step up as much. I mean, he didn't do well at Marseille. More expectations at Marseille. Didn't really do well out there. Hence why he moved back to England. Like I said, I think he's a really talented player. Everton, good signing, but I don't expect he leaves. Joe, we control the tempo, so it was a bit boring to watch, no end-to-end like normal. And Lou, just because Beto and Barry don't put them away isn't his fault. No, hang on a minute. It's not that they don't put them away. That would be assists. But he doesn't create big chances either. Ball whipped in. Oh, handball. Must be. Got to be a penalty. Got to be a penalty. And I think it is, He's give it. It's a penalty to Forest. Penalty to Forest. Yeah, penalty to Forest here. 33 minutes in and we might get our first goal. Joe, don't forget that Gateshead will be fatigued by absolutely destroying the League One team on Saturday. And Swifty says there's not enough goals and assists with Iliman and Ndiaye just yet. That's true enough, I think. Yeah, I was going to say, Lou, I don't necessarily think you can blame it just on him not, Beto and Barry not putting the chances away. He doesn't create the chances to begin with. Midtjylland 1, Celtic 0. There you go. Callum, Iliman Ndiaye reeks of Spurs or Chelsea. No, I could see him. If he was going to go somewhere, I could see him maybe going to like a Juventus for like 40, 45 million. Gibbs White with a penalty here for Forest. Should be 1-0 this one. Forest, right-footed. Morgan Gibbs White from the penalty spot. MGW, he's took a lot of criticism from Forest this season, Gibbs White. Oh, he saved it! Oh, that's another penalty, surely, ref. Has he give it? Has he given another penalty? Oh, the keeper's saved it. Gibbs White missed it. And he'll take some more criticism from Forest fans, won't he, if he's doing that. Oh, Morgan Gibbs White. Very close to a move to Spurs in the summer, and his form has fallen off a cliff, according to most Forest fans. And he's just missed a big penalty for him in Europe. Chimey, how's it going? Good to see you, man. And Lou says he put the ball 5 yards out for a tap-in against City and he missed. Oh, I know. I'm not saying I'm not saying he doesn't create any chances, but he doesn't create as many chances as as he should. That's a penalty. That should be another penalty. That should be another penalty for Forest. How is that not another penalty on Ryan Yates? Ryan Yates is running in. Watch this. Watch this. That's a penalty. It's Midtjylland 2, Celtic 0. Midtjylland are battering these. This should be another penalty here. Is he going to check it? Is he going to check this? Gagorza with a goal for Midtjylland. He's another player who will be in the Premier League very soon, trust me. It's not going to be a penalty here, but Manuel Gagorza... Not Manuel Gagorza, sorry. This is definitely going to be a... Oh, no, he's not. He's not going to give the penalty. He's not going to give the penalty. I thought he was going to give the penalty. He's reviewed it, and it's not a second penalty for Forest. On the rebound, it looked like Ryan Yates had been dragged down. Eastie, are they the better team? Forest, yeah. They are the better team, although Sturm Graz have had a goal ruled out literally by a toe offside, and Forest have missed a penalty. Joe, I could see and die back to Marseille, possibly, yeah. And Lou, how does Beto miss the Palace header? City tap in and Spurs tap in too. Like I said, all you've done is talk about 3 chances that he's created there. I'm not saying he doesn't create chances, just that he doesn't create enough to justify a very big fee. And he doesn't, by definition. Like, if you look at all the teams, all the other players in the league, he creates less big chances than the vast majority. I think there's about 30 players who've created more big chances than Ilman and Dye this season. Morgan Gibbs shite, says Swifty. And Joe says, great signing for Southampton if you've seen it. Can see their season being turned around. Who? Who signed for Southampton? Who signed for Southampton? Who is it? Let's have a look. Southampton have confirmed the signing. Oh, of Oriel Romeu. I haven't seen that. No, that is... I think someone mentioned that yesterday, didn't they, in the live? That isn't bad. Will Forever says, God, he looks young, that Gagorza, Coutinho-esque move. Yeah, honestly, he's absolutely unreal. Gagorza and Osorio. Honestly, I mean, Francolino as well. They're the main ones for Midtjylland, and I expect all of them will probably be in the Premier League in the next 2 years. Francolino, Gagorza, Osorio. Maybe even Simsier as well. Simsier's another one. I don't know if he's playing tonight, Simsier. But Dario Osorio's absolutely sensational. Lou, chances created though comes from strikers being at the end of it. Strikers positioning and vision. Possibly. I think ultimately, if you're not creating chances, that would be one of the key metrics you're looking at from a player. If you're a club and you're looking at signing a 50, 60, 70 million pound player, and you look at big chances created, you're not looking at players who are 30th, 40th, 50th in the league ranked, are you? It's not. You're not signing that. You're not paying that sort of money for them, and that's why I'm saying ultimately I think he probably stays at Everton just for that reason, because I don't think he does enough. Doesn't have enough assists. Doesn't do enough in the big games for Everton. Doesn't do it consistently enough. And yeah, just like one assist in 18 months, doesn't create enough big chances. I feel like you're never going to get a 50, 60, 70 million pound move for him, and therefore Everton aren't going to sell him for 40 million quid, are they? So he'll stay. He'll stay at Everton, and I'm sure Everton fans will be delighted with that. Nice 1, Freiburg 2. Get in there. Alright, into Forest here. Oh, unlucky. Good defending from Sturm Graz. And 3-star Reds after the Seuss set-piece goals against Porto. Forest missed on purpose to show we can score open play goals in Europe. Yeah, you don't want to be like Arsenal. Lou Harwood, 1 assist, a lot more than that. No, I promise you, it's not, mate. It's one assist. Have a look at it. 1 assist in the Premier League in 18 months. I swear to God. Have a look. Iliman Ndiaye has 1 assist in the Premier League in 18 months for Everton. Jordan Sosa apparently starting 4-3 Palace. Could be a high scoring one, that one, couldn't it? Coops have equalised against Slovan Bratislava in the Conference League. Swifty Semenyo will surely get a big move this summer. See, Semenyo, I think it's Midtjylland have scored again. It's 3-0 to Midtjylland. I told you they'd do well tonight. It's Gludajew with the goal. Hang on a minute, Gludajew, that's Francolino, isn't it? It is Francolino, I thought it was. Yeah, Gagorza now has a goal and an assist, and Francolino has scored. And Osorio is playing absolutely unreal. But look at that. The rating for Mikel Gagorza is 9.9. He is 19 years of age. He's got a goal and an assist tonight already in the first half against Celtic. So when I said watch out for Mikel Gagorza, I am telling you, this guy's going to come to the Premier League. He's absolutely sensational. And Francolino won't be far behind him. He's 21. He's better than Tierno Barry. He's got 16 goals and assists in 13 Danish Superliga games this season. So he is absolutely on fire. Do you know what? That would be exceptional value this summer. If someone, or even in January, if someone went to Midtjylland and said, how much for Gagorza and Francolino will give you 30 million, 40 million for the pair now, I mean, that would be an astute signing. You get 2 players who are 19 and 21, both with a track record of scoring in Europe regularly. Scoring and assisting in Europe, and they're very, very young. Massive, massive upward value in those 2. Lou, think 1 last year, 1 or 2 this year. No, he's on. I swear to God, mate. If you Google it, I'll show you. He didn't get a single assist last year, and he's got 1 assist this year. That's it. Swifty, let them stay there for the rest of the season. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could. That'd be a great selling point, wouldn't it? We'll let you keep them for the rest of the season, but we'll give you 25, 30 million. Or even if you said 40, 50 million for the pair. Honestly, that's immense value for those 2. They'll do really, really well. I've never seen anyone put the same sort of numbers in and the same. They are absolutely top quality young players, then. Will Forever sounds South American Gagorza. I always think of Gozer out of Ghostbusters. I think of him, but he's actually Danish. Yeah, Mikel Gagorza. Francolino is from where Beto is from, I think. Although I don't know, actually. Where is Beto from? I thought Beto was Guinea-Bissau. Is Beto Guinea-Bissau? Yeah, well, Francolino's from Guinea-Bissau. Lou Harwood, any top 10 striker in the league would have scored 6 or 7 goals with his service. Just Beto his pants. Well, you could be right, and that's on Everton, isn't it, to go and buy a decent player and maybe make the rest of their team look a lot better. And that's maybe one of the reasons why Iliman Ndiaye will want to move. He might end up pushing for a move, because I'm sure if there's a level of ambition there that he wants to go and play in the Champions League again, then he might well want to push, and he might do what Alexander Isak did and say, I want to leave, and I've got a bit of a dodgy back here. Bit of a dodgy back. I'm not sure I can make it this Saturday, Moisey. Struggling. Life of Reese, are you doing Sunderland Arsenal? I am, yes. I am indeed. And 3-star Reds, Victor, more parries than an Austrian fencing champion in this game. I was going to say, he's certainly gone heavy with the parries, hasn't he? Maybe it's a Brazilian thing that he just doesn't want to handle the ball and keep hold of it. He's very keen to push it away. A couple of times he's pushed it back into danger as well, hasn't he? Good ball in. Chance. Oh, Forrest again. 2 minutes before half-time. Life of Reese, what you make of our owner's interview on Monday Night Football? I haven't seen it. Why? What was said? What was said? You'll have to tell me. I'm not sure. Lou Harwood, who's out there though? Hey, well, they've just said one. Go and get Francolino from Midtjylland. 21 years of age. He's got 16 goals and assists in 13 games in the Danish Superliga so far. He's still only 21. He's a big, tall unit. He's fast. He can finish. He's a really talented player, and he's young. He's still got a lot of, there's a big ceiling there for him. So players like that's who Everton should be going for, not going signing, like Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is such a non-Everton, like it's a proper Moyes signing, but it's not the signing that any Everton fan really wants, in my opinion. Everton fans, and who I would go for if I was in Everton's position, would be young players with a lot of excitement behind, like Tyler Diblin. Tyler Diblin is who Everton fans want. They want more Tyler Diblins, more Illiman and Dyes when they signed him last year. Lots of players who've got a lot of potential. They don't want players like Jack Grealish and Kieran Dewsbury Hall. They're not players who get you off the seat. They're the players that David Moyes likes, but they're not players who you want to be playing for your team. Lou Harwood says Everton are experts at making good players look shit. I mean, United have got that problem at the minute as well, and have had for the last 10 years or so. Jordan, Everton could get Isaac. Have you been to the dentist or something? What's with the happy sticker? It's my little girl's. My little girl got a well done at school, and she came out when I picked her up today, and she put it on my chest again. She's had 2 in the last 3 days now. So she was very excited, and she gave it to me. So she said, "There you go, Dad. You can have that for working so hard." And I said, "Thanks very much." And she, so I've just not changed my top since I picked it up earlier. Lou Harwood, no, because apparently we play McNeil over Diblin. Exactly, this is it, and it's so frustrating, isn't it? You spent 42 million on Tyler Diblin. He played about 40 minutes for you this season. When you're bringing on Dwight McNeil, who evidently doesn't have a future at the club. It's crazy, isn't it? Jordan, you stole her sticker. I did, yes, because I work harder than her by definition, and she's got to learn that lesson early, hasn't she, Jordan? That's the thing. She's got to learn it. Got to learn it early. Dad works harder than you. Up your game. Up your work rates. Get nothing in this life given to you. She was crying in the playground. All the mums and dads were looking at me, but she learned her lesson. Give me that sticker here. Give me that sticker. I am totally kidding, by the way. She did. I know it's a repeated example. I keep coming on with my little girl's well done sticker. She has to just give it to me for the last 2 days. What we saying? Owner said we want top 10 and we're going to spend in January to make sure of it. Wow. Fair enough. And Life of Reese says Everton should be doing what we're doing at Sunderland. I wouldn't get so cocky just yet, Reese. I wouldn't just, don't get too... You're playing very well, and you might well get top 10, but it's entirely possible. Like, you would gladly take 17th right now, and that'd still be a great season for Sunderland. Lou says that Merlin role looks good. That's why Moyes keeps a warm seat for him on the bench. And Merlin reminds me of Fellaini. Tierno Barry's I think he got a lot of stick the other day, didn't he, Barry? But he's only had 3 starts all season. Moyes just doesn't seem to like young players. He signs them, but doesn't really do anything with them. And I think that's ultimately what's going to get him sacked before the end of the season. I got a lot of stick for that as well. I do think that Moyes probably doesn't finish the season as Everton manager. What are we saying, Ollie? Who do you think will be the new Wolves gaffer? It's looking like Rob Edwards at the minute, isn't it? Yeah, there's a fair few others kind of in the frame, but I'm thinking maybe Rob Edwards seems to be the one making the strides. Jordan and Dye, Dibbling, O'Brien, Garner, all wasted. Well, Jake O'Brien's Jake O'Brien's ex-Palace, isn't he, Jordan? You know him. He's actually done quite well at right back for Everton, albeit he's not a right back. He's a centre back by trade. I think if he could, he'd move back to centre back, but Everton haven't got a right back. Instead, they've signed players they don't really need, and not got an actual right back. It's madness. Life of Reese, I wouldn't take 17th right now, to be honest. It'd be a massive drop-off. But it's safety. That's all you want when you first come up to the Premier League. Mate, come on. You're not... I don't believe that for 1 second. You're just promoted to the Premier League. If you get offered 17th right now, guaranteed 17th, you're not taking it. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Sunderland would snatch the hand off for 17th because it can all go pear-shaped very, very quickly. You're losing like 6 players for the AFCON, aren't you, over December and January. So that's going to be difficult. How do you cope without all those players, Siddiqui and Adingra? You're going to have a really difficult time of it over the next couple of months. And, some teams do start very well, but you don't. It's a long season, very long season. Same thing as I would say to Arsenal. The title race ain't over. Yeah, the relegation race ain't over yet either. Swifty, Everton could really do with that young midfielder on loan at Preston becoming a top player. Yeah, Harrison Armstrong. What we saying? Hello says, think of the worst decision you can make and Everton will do it. Timbo, Rob Edwards is going to increase Forest's female attendance by 200%. Forests? Surely you mean Wolves. I was going to say. Lou Howard says, no right back. Miko's shit in left back. Tarky's got 1 or 2 years left. Branthwaite out, no dibbling. Branthwaite's just had a horrendous run of it with injury, hasn't he? I can't see him going to the World Cup at this point because, let's be honest, he's probably not going to kick a ball until January, the way it's looking. He's had another setback, and apparently he's out until at least after the international break, which seems to just continuously drag on and on and on with Branthwaite. And then when he comes back, he'll have been out for 3 or 4 months without a proper pre-season. So again, it'll take a bit longer to build him up. He's not going to start games immediately. So you're probably looking at January earliest before Branthwaite's even starting games. Tarkovsky's looked all over the place for Everton. It's a weird old season for him. Delta Force, the Toon Review channel, have been very critical of Byrne and Joe Linton, saying they shouldn't be in the side, and both of them scored. Now they are backtracking. Well, in fairness, it's not the Toon Review channel, or at least it's not just the Toon Review channel. We've had plenty of Newcastle fans on the channel here as well saying that Eddie Howe's got his favourites, and I don't understand why he keeps playing Dan Byrne. And Dan Byrne scored last night, but he also had a couple of little wobbles as well at different points. So I can understand he might want to put Lewis Hall back in. Lewis Hall was on the bench last night. So does he come back in at some point for Dan Byrne? I don't know. Lou Harwood, no consistent striker for Everton. We play no new signings, and as subs, what are we saying? As subs bring on the deadwood. Liam Manning, they are losing 9 key, and Blake Griffin, the Ev need to go back to the days of Barkley, Lukaku, Morales, Rodwell and Richarlison. What a brew, score key lad. It's 0-0, but Forest have missed a penalty, and Sturm Graz have had one ruled out for offside, literally by a toe. A literal toe. What a brew. How are you doing, pal? Great performance on Tuesday night. Flo really showed his character. Yeah, wonderful performance. Couple of really, really good performances all round, let's be honest, against Real Madrid and Aston Villa. And whatever happens against City, whatever the result, I'm just hoping that we can get something. I just want a point would be great, but I can live with a defeat as long as we keep up that same intensity. City's a really difficult place to go. You've got to accept that. There's maybe 2 to 3 grounds in European football that Liverpool go to, and you would begrudgingly admit that a defeat would be, something that you have to kind of take on the chin. Sometimes you can play well and you get beat. City's probably one of them. Swifty, Gay has suddenly become England's best centre-back. Exactly, yeah. Follow me, says Champions League favourites after game week 4. Ooh, Champions League favourites. Probably at this point, just based on form, you'd probably be looking at Bayern, wouldn't you? I don't think Bayern will. I honestly, I don't think Bayern will. But, form-wise, they're doing really, really well. Liverpool were like this last season, and then we got knocked out immediately in the next round. So it can all change very quickly. Blake Griffin says, thought Van Dijk was unprofessional in the way he spoke about Trent. Why? What did he say? What did he say about Trent? Or what specifically did he say about Trent that you thought was unprofessional? Jordan, O'Brien was unreal. We expected him to go right to the top, and then Textor fiddled the books and sold him to Leon. Obviously, Textor's other club for like 2 million. Silly, yeah. John Textor, ruining football clubs. Timbo, Liverpool's record at the Etihad isn't great, is it? It's not fantastic, but we did win there last year. And what a brew, just gutted we didn't turn it on for Palace. First time I've been to Anfield in 10 years, gutted. Oh, bloody hell, mate. That's absolutely minging. We put out a really shit side as well, didn't we? Rockcom, why do scum Liverpool fans boo away teams when on the ball? Very few clubs do it. You can't watch much football then. Lou Howard, we won't get Europe without a striker. We'll fall short and then consistently lose in frustration. You think it's just a striker? If Everton got a decent striker, see, I think if you got, I think you could put Harry Kane in that Everton side. I still don't think you get Europe. That you could put the very, very, very best of the best. I don't think it's just finishing goals that's a problem for Everton. Sunderland walked through that midfield. Absolutely walked through that midfield in the second half, and yeah, I listened to Ped and Baz on Toffee TV, and they were saying that it was one of the worst halves of football that they've seen in the last 5-6 years watching Everton. So yeah, that midfield has been ran through quite a bit all season. I think it's getting to the point now where Idrissa Gana Gueye he could have genuinely be Everton's best player. I think Idrissa Gana Gueye is maybe Everton's most important player. He's 36, nearly 37. The guy he's unreal, and he's going to the AFCON as well. He goes to the AFCON, towards the end of this month, start of December. Off he goes. He's gone for a month or so, misses 6 or 7 games. I don't know what Everton do. It's going to be tough, isn't it? What a brew says Galatasaray had us on strings with their constant booing the other week, and Blake Griffin says that back four is shocking as well. Yeah, I mean, Tarkovsky's been all over the place. Mikolenko's been dreadful. They haven't got a right back. So it's certainly not just about getting a striker for Everton. That's certainly not the case. Like I said, they don't really create enough chances for them to, if we just get a good striker, that'll sort everything. Delta Force, I wonder if we see someone like Spurs or Newcastle win the Champions League, like Leicester shocked us when they won the Prem. It's been a while, hasn't it, since we've seen kind of a really... I think probably the last one to do it would have been Chelsea. Chelsea were probably the last, shock winner of the Champions League, weren't they? Where they weren't really a good side. They weren't the best side in Europe. They weren't the best side in the league. They just had a bit of a run. And obviously then maybe just before that, Spurs get into the final against us. There's not really been too many other examples of it, though. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of sort of, not mediocre teams, but teams who are clearly well below the best in their own country reaching the Champions League final. I can't see it personally. Three-Star Red says, I thought John Textor had no influence at Palace regarding transfers while he was there, according to Steve Parrish. Hey, that's very true. That is very, very true. And Rockcom played for Liverpool from 8 years of age, gets that for his troubles. Do you think he played for us for free? Do you think, are you under the impression that he played for us out of charity? Because I'm fairly sure we made him a multi-millionaire, and we nurtured him. It's a mutual deal. We nurtured him into the best right back in world football, and helped him win everything that there is to win, many times over. So yeah, it's a very, very mutual agreement, and I don't believe for a moment that Trent Alexander-Arnold deserves any sympathy for the manner in which he left Liverpool. Again, people get it twisted, don't they? The media love to distort it and say, "Oh yeah, it's how awful is it that Liverpool fans are booing him?" Yeah, no chance. That's not the reason we're booing him. We're not booing him because he left. You can leave Liverpool. There's no problem with you leaving Liverpool. It's how you leave. Lancer says Garner and Keane and Dewsbury Hall are the third best midfield pairing in the league. Okay. We can't be taking that seriously, can we? Lou Harwood, if we had Kane, we would be on 6 or 7 more points. Easy. And Timbo Slice, we conceded 4 goals in that entire Champions League campaign. Madness. And Rotcon, what 2 times winners Chelsea? I mean, to be fair, Forest are 2 times winners, so, you know, what's that got to do with the price of fish? If you're a bad side at that moment in time, it doesn't matter how many times you've won the Champions League. Forest have won it twice. They've still been garbage for most of the last 30-odd years. Lou Harwood, for me, Garner was the best central defensive midfielder in the world with Kante back in 2016. And Rotcon, money versus booing, okay. What did he do wrong when he left then? Well, so you don't understand? Are you of the you don't know what he did wrong? Because I'll happily tell you. I'll explain it to you if you want to know. But evidently, you can't take the opinion that, oh yeah, well, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he was having what a horrendous, you know, Liverpool fans booing him. It's bang out of order. If you don't know, then you don't know. Right, we're back off for the second half here. Forest, oh, unlucky, just wide. He run down his contract and left for his career. Yes, he did. And there's, again, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Problem was, he said to the club all the way through that he wanted to stay. And he only actually told the club after the point that we couldn't sell him. So we could have got a big fee for him in January. We could have got a big fee for him in August the year before. He's been learning Spanish and communicated to Real Madrid that he was wanting to go last August. And he actually only told Liverpool officially that he wanted to leave. He told Arne Slot in a meeting in March of this year. And that's why Liverpool fans are angry, because of the manner in which he went about it. Timbo, everyone says it's the way Trent left, but I'm not sure he could have left without a negative reaction. Honestly, mate, I promise you, there would have been a cross-section of fans that would have booed him no matter what. You are dead right. There would have been. But I guarantee you there wouldn't have been 60,000 people across the stadium last night. Pretty much everyone in the stadium, bar a few who stood up and applauded. The vast majority of the crowd booed him, and the vast majority of Liverpool fans don't like the way he went about it because of the manner in which he handled it. There's certainly been Liverpool legends who've left and come back. He could have definitely gone about it in a different way. And if he had, I think he could have retained a bit of legacy. He could have said... Do you know what he could have done? He could have said, in August last year, when he knew he wanted to leave, when Jurgen Klopp had left, he could have said, I'm done, guys. I want to go. I've decided I want to leave. And we'd have got a decent fee for him from Real Madrid. Instead, Real Madrid said... And we know what's happened. Real Madrid have said, we don't want to pay any money for you. We don't want to pay any money for you. We don't want to pay a transfer fee for you. Or we'll give you a massive signing on fee if we don't pay any money for you. So that's what he's done. He's done it because he's thought out the old cha-ching. NUFC says that's why we reacted the way we did with Isak. It's not that he went, it's the way he did it. But the thing with Isak is he actually told you up front. He did what I'm saying Trent should have done. He came to Eddie Howe and said, allegedly in April, didn't he? Allegedly, I think it was in April, well before the summer started, and said, I want to go. I want to leave. So if he'd have done that I think, if you think about what's the right way for a player to leave a club? Like, if you're a legend of a club, or even if you're not a legend, what is the right way for you to communicate that you want to leave? For me, it's go and tell the manager or go and tell the club as early as possible and let them know you want to leave. I think if you do that, you've done everything you can. You've been as honest and as upfront as you can. But if you do what Trent did, which is, well, I'll kind of masquerade that I am, wanting to stay so that my contract runs down. The club keep putting contracts in front of me, and I'm saying, no, we'll wait to the end of the season, we'll have a look at it maybe later, and And he keeps kind of pouring it off, and he keeps telling the club and he's doing interviews outwardly saying, I want to be captain at the club, I want to be captain, I want to stay here. And then he's learning Spanish in the background. Like, all of this is why Liverpool fans are a little bit like, that's snide, mate, that's snide. Rockcom, but as you say, he was offered 20 million probably. Exactly, yeah, 20 million. Probably 25 million quid. Wouldn't you do the same? No, not to my boyhood club. No, and that's it. If I was playing for Barcelona, I was playing for Man United, I was playing for Chelsea, I was playing for Newcastle, or just any other club who didn't give a shit. Yeah, I probably would. I'd be like, listen, I'm a player. I haven't got any loyalty to you. Like, I have honoured my contract. It's just a contract. I've done everything I can. Don't care. I'm going getting what I can. I'm going getting the best I can for me and my family. But when it's your football club that you have grown up with for 18 years, no, I do think you probably owe them a little bit more loyalty than that. And you try to get, let's try and leave in the right way. And I don't think he did that. I don't think Trent at all tried to leave in the right way. Timbo, the pull of Madrid is crazy, by the way. They can convince players to wait a year to join on freeze. Well, they didn't with Gerrard. That's exactly what Gerrard said in his interview the other day. He got asked by Real Madrid to do exactly that. Wait it out. We don't want to pay a transfer fee for you. It was when Mourinho was manager. And Gerrard said, no, I won't do it. And UFC knows, yeah, but refusing to train and play is not the right way. Just play when the bid is accepted, then go. No, he didn't. He didn't refuse to train, though, did he? Isak did refuse to play, but he didn't refuse to play technically. He said he had an injury. But all players do that. But he never refused to train. He trained every single time as normal, did exactly what he was told to do. He was told by the club to train later away from the rest. So that was the club's thing. He never refused to train. The idea that he's refused to train is a total lie. It's a myth. He absolutely trained. Lou, pay me 10 grand for Everton and 50 grand for Real. I'm staying at Everton my life. Exactly. And that's it. And you expect fans, or it's baked into them, you expect them to do that, don't you? Blake, Pool fans threatened Gerrard's family out of his dream. Trent had to behave that way for safety reasons. Now, well, that's categorically not true as well. That's another rumour doing the rounds that Gerrard got threatened to stay. No, that's absolutely not the case. Absolutely not the case. Categorically, that is not the case. And if you knew the people that Gerrard knows, you definitely know that's not the case. Delta Force, do you think Livramento could become world class? Possibly, if he went to a team where he could compete for the top honours, yeah. If he could compete in Champions Leagues and, compete for titles, then yes, absolutely, he could go up another level. Lisha, LFC literally threatened his family. Liverpool threatened his family. I think you've got that one very, very wrong. Blake, if Trent announced his intentions when Klopp left, he would have got the same treatment. Why? Why do you think? I don't think he would have. No, I don't think he would have. I think he would have been... he'd have been booed by a cross-section, of course, because there's a certain hardcore of every club that would boo him no matter what decision he made. But no, I don't think he would have got... he wouldn't have got threatened to stay or whatever. Players don't get threatened to stay. I mean, look, that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. The amount of money that these guys are on, if you think security is that much of an issue, you can pay evil people to threaten players, yeah. Players have got plenty of money as well. You can get them. You can get evil people to do it for you as well. Unknown. It was the fans who threatened him. That's just a convenient thing to pin it on. There's no evidence at all that happened. Absolutely none. That's just a standard rumour doing the rounds. Usually, I think it was created by Chelsea or Everton fans. Be yourself, Dylan. The story with Notts Forest owner. Did you see? No, I didn't. They were fans literally outside his house. Right. So what does that mean? Listen, I'm not saying for 1 second that there wasn't a hardcore who protested or whatever. Christ, Benitez got that when he went from when he was at Everton. Bill Kenwright got that for a point of Benitez, I'm pretty sure. There's certainly football fans who are divvies who do that stuff. Unknown, I'm a Liverpool fan myself, and it's true, everyone knows about that. Well, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I am telling you it definitely isn't true. It's categorically not true. 3-star Reds, if Yatesy scores, we are in the Trent is the song. I don't know what the river is called in Graz, but in November, if he does, I would not advise it. Yeah, I can imagine in Austria the river's pretty nippy. Listen, you don't turn up to a footballer's house because he wanted to leave your club. He's also a human being. But I know, but you can say the same thing about, like, this, Christ, there's people who claim to be certain fans of certain clubs who do and say all sorts of things. You don't tarnish the rest of the club with that, do you? You don't tarnish the rest of the club with that. There's absolutely no way that because of the, allegiance to Liverpool Football Club, Gerrard was forced to stay. That is an absolute laughable suggestion. It's absolutely laughable. Blake, it's facts. 2001, Gerrard's son was being terrorised by a Liverpool gangster known as the Psycho. I know the story. I've heard it. Many, many times over. Many, many times over. Chronic Slayer says, I said after Brentford we'd beat Villa, Madrid and City. So close. I'm saying 2-1. 2-1 against City. That'd be a great result, wouldn't it, Chronic Slayer? Lou Harwood, how many Everton players get in your squad right now? I'd say 2 or 3. Squad? As in on our bench? Ooh, on our bench. We could probably do with Garner Gay. Yeah, we could probably do with Garner Gay on our bench. If Branthwaite was fit, possibly on our bench as well. Possibly, but that's about it. I don't think that. This year, but you can't say Gerrard was loyal to Liverpool. His mind wanted out. Oh, he did, yeah. He did absolutely want out at one point, yeah. But it only lasted a matter of days, didn't it? It was a matter of days, and it turned it round. He said, no, actually, I don't want to. He retracted his contract. He retracted his decision to leave, and he'd signed a new contract. So it's not the same as Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold's seen it through. Gerrard had a wobble. His head was turned, and he decided actually he wanted to stay. The nonsense that it was due to a play, being threatened. Don't talk absolute. Don't talk wet. Don't talk wet. There have been plenty of Liverpool players who've left in far more. Like, why wouldn't they have threatened Torres? Why wouldn't they have threatened Torres? Torres went to Chelsea. Why wouldn't they have threatened Suarez? It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Lou Harwood says Canate wants out, I'm sure. I hope not. I really hope not. Lou Harwood says so underrated. Man doesn't stop running and die right now over Vert. No, and listen, Illiman and Die does not get over Florian Wirtz, and Branthwaite is absolutely nowhere near Canate. Come on, that's ridiculous. Jared Branthwaite is not getting in over Canate. I wouldn't swap Jared Branthwaite for Leone at this point. Guy can't stay fit. Lisher, yeah, he went never mind because he was scared for life. But that's a convenient... You're obviously going to say that as a Man United fan, aren't you? Because you want to tarnish Gerrard's reputation and say that that's why he only stayed because he was threatened. Well, that's not quite the case. There's no evidence for that. But it's a convenient thing for you to believe, isn't it? Timbo, he wasn't threatened, but there would have definitely been a bit of emotional blackmail. Oh, absolutely there would have been emotional blackmail, but to suggest that is the reason that he would have stayed or would have left, I'm pretty confident that the reason he stayed was because of the massive contract offer that was put in front of him in order to keep him. So yeah, I think he was assured. In fact, if you remember, he said he was staying. He said he was staying after the Champions League final win, right? He won the Champions League and he said, I'm staying, but the contract offer didn't come, and he perceived that as the club might want to cash in on him. The club didn't put a contract in front of him. Or if they did, it wasn't a serious one. Either way, they didn't put a contract offer in front of him that he liked, or his team didn't like. And within a week or whatever, a couple of weeks, he'd put a transfer request in. Chelsea had put a bid in. There was fans burning Gerrard shirts, and then like a few days later, he'd signed a new contract. So it could have all just been a negotiation tactic. This nonsense about he got threatened by a local gangster. Talk out your fucking ass. Absolute nonsense. I'm sure these people... Do you think these people don't mix in the same circles as the rich and famous footballers? Do you not think if there was a psycho in Liverpool that Gerrard didn't know him as well? Or Gerrard didn't know someone who equally as violent? It's just... these things can happen very, very... they happen very, very frequently with the rich and famous. Blake says Torres had links to the Spanish mafia and Suarez was a maniac. Suarez was a maniac? What, do you reckon do you reckon if there was a violent gangster he'd have been asked about getting bitten by Suarez? Or getting called some names? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have been that bothered. Lou Howard, if Baines left or Coleman, I'd have been broken. And be yourself, Dylan. People who say rubbish are cheeks. And Lou Howard could have won so much more. All 5 Champions League, all 6 FA, 2012 too. Not a lot for his level. No, he could have been absolutely unreal. Yeah. Absolutely unreal. He could have won everything there is to win. Delta Force, do you think Liverpool should build a new ground? Would you be up for that? No, I think we've made the decision now. We're staying at Anfield. The thing for Liverpool now is to nail down Anfield and make sure that we improve it as much as we can. Timbo, Suarez has some pretty hefty gnashers, to be fair. I'd be scared of them. Carefree, not much going on in this game now, I take it. No, mate, it's been pretty dead. It's been a pretty naff game so far. We've seen Sturm Graz have a goal disallowed by, literally like a bug's dick. He was ruled out offside. And then there was a penalty decision which Forest got. Gibbs White stepped up and missed it. And since then, we've had 20 minutes. Why is that clock not going? We've had 20 odd minutes, nearly. Hang on, what have we had? No, 15, 16 minutes. Yeah, and it's been pretty dead. Right, there you go. Jake Fitzpatrick, what's your score prediction for City on Sunday? I think 2-1 Liverpool. Maybe 2-2. This year, do you think Liverpool fans care about a Torres leaving anywhere compared to Gerrard? Well, at that time, Torres was arguably our best player. Yeah, he was arguably our best player. And he was going to our biggest rivals. So the reaction about Gerrard going and Torres going, believe me, was just as strong. Lou Howard, if Suarez wasn't a biting prick and was polite on the pitch, he wins 2 Ballon d'Ors. He was absolutely unreal, Suarez. He's the best centre-forward I've ever seen as far as I'm concerned. Liam Manning, how's it going? Good to see you. Alex, evening key, how are things? Celtic getting beat 3-0. Yeah, they're getting smashed, aren't they, by my second team, Midtjylland. Kubo to Spurs looks a possibility. I don't rate that, to be honest. Kubo's not a good signing for Spurs. Lisha, Chelsea aren't your biggest rivals, nowhere near you. Well, they were at the time. I'm not saying now. They were at the time, though. Timbo Slice, Van Dijk is better than Trent, but wouldn't have got the same reaction if he left. No, because Trent is a homegrown player, isn't he? You know. Lisha, I thought you said it was Fowler. What are you on about? I thought you said it was Fowler. Liam, what game are you watching after Villa or Palace? Palace, mate. Alex, thoughts on Danny Welbeck getting called up for England? He's not getting called up for England. Sturm Graz coming forward here. Timbo, who's better, Fowler or Owen? Try and put the hatred for one of them aside. I don't have any hatred for Robbie Fowler. Robbie Fowler's the second best centre-forward I have ever seen. Certainly for Liverpool, anyway. Suarez is the best I've ever seen, full stop. Fowler is the second best I've ever seen for Liverpool. Fowler was unreal. Owen was better than Fowler in my view. No, listen, Michael Owen never got 20 goals in the Premier League. He had a very, very short-lived career at the start when he broke through. He was very fast, relied so heavily on his pace, and within 3 years he was broken. Have a look at what Robbie Fowler did in his first 3 foot. Robbie Fowler was a better young player than Michael Owen was. You know, we talk about Michael Owen breaking through and getting Ballon d'Ors and all this and scoring at the World Cup. Robbie Fowler was the best young player, certainly the best young striker the Premier League has ever seen. That isn't even in dispute. Better than Rooney, better than Michael Owen. Whatever you think you saw with Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen breaking on the scene, Robbie Fowler was better. It was better. Look at the numbers. The sheer numbers will tell you that. He got PFA Young Player of the Year, I believe, twice back to back. Don't think there's been another player done that. But the numbers, the guy was scoring 30 goals a year for about 4 years running. From about 17 to 20, 21. He was unreal. Absolutely unbelievable. Blake, how come Fowler never won the Ballon d'Or then? I mean, probably for the same reason that a lot of them don't win it. Because it's political. He didn't get a cap. He didn't really get many caps for England. You know, Gary Neville says it himself. Listen, Gary Neville's got an axe to grind with Liverpool, hasn't he? He doesn't like Liverpool. Doesn't like Scousers. Didn't particularly get on with Robbie Fowler, allegedly, but Gary Neville said, they asked him, like, what's your hot take from the Premier League era? And Gary Neville said, word for word, that if Robbie Fowler had played for Manchester United, if he'd had gone to a different team where it was a little bit more professional and the environment was, maybe not as laddie, because that was what he was in at Liverpool. He was in that laddie sort of Spice Boys era. Gary Neville said if he'd have gone to Manchester United, he would have been England's greatest ever centre-forward. He would have been better than Shearer. And I agree. I can't disagree. I can't argue with that. Robbie Fowler was unreal. Jake, if Salah or Virgil left this summer, I don't think they would have the same reaction that Trent got. Well, no, of course they wouldn't, because they would leave in contract and we would get a massive, massive fee for them. They would have been very clear that they want to leave. All Liverpool fans ask for, all most fans ask for, is a degree of honesty. I think that's all it really boils down to, isn't it? Sam, high key, looks like Wolves are pushing closer to appointing former Wolves player Rob Edwards as manager. Underwhelming for me, Championship manager. But a very good manager. He is a good manager, mate. I know he's not maybe the best of the best, and you could have gone and got... Who was you hoping for? As a Wolves fan, who was you hoping for that you'd get appointed? Because for me, Rob Edwards he's not a bad appointment. I know he took Luton down, but he's a progressive, forward-thinking manager. I quite like Rob Edwards. FT Anom says Owen didn't score more goals in a single season than Fowler. Owen didn't score 20 goals in a season. If you look at the list of players who've scored 20 Premier League goals in a season. It's about this long. It's as long as your arm. Honestly, it's massive. Michael Owen isn't in it. There's Michael Bridges. There's players like Michael Bridges have scored 20 Premier League goals. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Michael Owen never did. There's loads of strikers scored 20 goals a season. Michael Owen never ever managed it. He was for me, he's one of the most overrated centre forwards. This year, Owen won a Golden Boot at 17, and I think, do you know what? And politics and marketing played a very big part of that. The fact that he scored in the World Cup against Argentina, it was such a big thing. Yeah, that's what tends to get. It's the same reason Dembele won the Ballon d'Or this year, isn't it? PSG win the Champions League. That's why Dembele wins the Ballon d'Or. I'm telling you, if Inter had managed to beat PSG in that final, it might have gone to Bastoni. It could have gone to anyone. That's why it's all down to politics and marketing and who can we actually market better. Mainz 1, Fiorentina 1. Timbo says young Fowler as a striker may have been better, but he wasn't a better player than young Rooney. That's questionable. That is questionable. Swifty, Shearer, Rooney, Kane and Owen are England's best 4 strikers since Lineker. Can't agree with that, Swifty. I think Fowler's ahead of certainly 3 of those. I think Rooney's unbelievable. Actually, maybe Rooney probably because of what he went on to achieve. He was an unreal player, Wayne Rooney, and Fowler got injured very, very early and didn't really recover. So maybe Rooney is better than Fowler if you're looking across his whole career. But I think Fowler's peak is better than Rooney's peak. Blake Owen is the last English player to win the Ballon d'Or. Plenty of others better who haven't won it though, isn't there? Ball whipped in. Sturm Graz, chance! Ooh, Forest are living dangerously. And they're on the counter-attack here now. No, they're getting it away. Honestly, Sturm Graz are far more likely to win this than Forest at this moment in time. This year, Bastoni have a day off. Well, it wouldn't have been... Dembele only got it because of PSG winning what they did. Dembele is not the best player in Europe, is he? He's not the best player in the world. Timbo, Owen was brilliant for England, to be fair. And that's another reason why he gets it. Again, because he's, if you're good on the international stage, they tend to, you get more points. He did it at World Cups. He did it at the Euros. It's stuff like that. Delta Force, if you had to offload one Liverpool first team player to Newcastle, who would you give us? We need some new talent. If I had to offload one... if I had to offload one... I don't know, Probably Chiesa. Yeah, or Endo. I'd give you Endo. Wataru Endo. You could do with some body, some legs in midfield. If Fowler was at Liverpool now, he'd be scoring 25 plus league goals a season. It's a different game now. It's a completely different game now. I don't think there's certain players who wouldn't thrive in the modern game either. There's plenty of Premier League legends who maybe wouldn't thrive in the modern game. I don't think John Terry would be anywhere near as good a defender as he was then in this game. Because of the high lines and all that, John Terry would get exposed quite... Same with Jamie Carragher. Carragher and John Terry, I don't think, would thrive in the modern game. Swifty says there's a reason Shearer has 260 Premier League goals. Yeah, because he was always fit. He was always fit. He was always available. And he was a very, very good player. Yeah. And he played in the Premier League at the top level for 15 years, basically, didn't he? And scored at least 20 goals a season pretty solidly. Blake Fowler is a fraud. 7 in 26 games for England is poor. I bet it's 26 appearances. I bet it's not 26 starts. He came off the bench a lot for England. Yeah, and Andy Cole's the same. I actually think Andy Cole has a case for being, like, peak Andy Cole for me is better than peak Alan Shearer. I just think Alan Shearer is a little bit like he's a little bit like Harry Kane. He's a very, very good goal scorer, but he didn't have a lot else to his game. Whereas I feel like Robbie Fowler certainly did. I think Andy Cole did as well. I think Robbie Fowler and Andy Cole and Wayne Rooney could win games on their own. Maybe Andy Cole less so, but Robbie Fowler and Wayne Rooney could win games on their own. I'm not sure Shearer could. Timbo, Shearer missed over 2 years with injuries, didn't he? Yeah, but if you look at his entire career, look how many games he played. But yeah, well, let's check it rather than second guess it. Right, so he made appearances from Southampton. Right, so from 1990 he made 35 appearances, 48 appearances, 60 appearances, 26 appearances, 40, that might have been an injury hit one, 48 appearances, 49, 48, 40, 23, maybe another injury hit one there, 40, 50, 23, maybe another injury hit one there, 46, 48, 52, 42, 41. So we're talking 15 to 16 years of like 40 to 50 appearances on average, and 3 seasons where he still made like 25 appearances. So if an injury hit year is 25 appearances, that's still not bad, is it? What we're saying, Kane has loads more to his game than goals. Can't agree with that Shearer-Kane comparison. No, I mean, I agree that I like, and yeah, okay, maybe that was harsh. In hindsight, maybe that was harsh. Harry Kane is definitely a better striker than Alan Shearer. Definitely. Categorically has a lot more to his game, I agree. But if we're talking about like an out-and-out goal scorer, a player who can win a game on his own, I don't feel like Harry Kane is in that bracket. Sorry, if we're talking about out-and-out goal scorers, players who can score lots of goals but win the game on their own, pick the ball up in the halfway line, jink past 3 or 4 players and smash it in the top corner, Harry Kane's not that guy, is he? Harry Kane is like Lewandowski, Shearer, Kane. You know, you can put them in and around the box and they'll just get hatfuls. Haaland, Kane, Shearer, that group, right? And then you've got over here, you've got your Suarez's, your Henrys, your Rooneys, your Fowlers, players who will pick the ball up, run with it. They can rock it in the top corner from 35 yards out. They can jink past 3 or 4 players. They can all that stuff. You don't get that from certain players, and one is not necessarily better than another. But I prefer this pot over here. I prefer the Suarez's, the Rooneys, the Fowlers, the Henrys, in comparison to the Shearers, the Kanes, the Haalands, the Agueros, the Lewandowskis, players like that. And Aguero's maybe kind of a half and half between those two, isn't he? Aguero could do a little bit of that. Swifty, Shearer was frightening at Blackburn before the ACL and was good enough to change his game afterward. Shearer was devastating. And Jake, Key, who do you think is the best striker the Premier League has ever seen? I think it's Suarez. I think that's the best striker I've ever seen, full stop. I've never seen a better centre-forward than Luis Suarez. Ever. Timbo, did you see Kane's midfield performance v Dortmund, though? It was unreal. I get it's not dribbling past people, but still. And Lisha, can I just say Van Basten would have been the greatest to ever play if he didn't get injured. If my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle and all that sort of thing. Blake, Shearer got 100 goals in 124 games. No chance, Suarez. Like I said, there's some players who win your games of football, and there's some players who are box players, score lots of goals. And I think Shearer and Suarez are very, very different in that sense. Alex, where would you put Isak? I would put him over here. I would put him with the Shearers, the Haalands. He's a pure goal scorer. I don't think Isak's necessarily one that he's someone who is round the box. Whereas Ekitike, I think maybe could drift into. He could be more like Aguero, a little bit more in the middle. But no, I think with Isak and Ekitike, we've got more of that group of strikers. Hopefully, quality-wise, I'm talking about. If we're talking about categories, I'm not necessarily. There's certainly players who would fit in that category. Would be well down the level. There's plenty of. Jermaine Defoe was probably more of a goal scorer than a match winner. Sam, I'm not sure. I don't know if anybody will save us this time. Our team is so poor, so much weaker than last season. Unless we have a mad January transfer window, Wolves could be going down, and that's from a Wolves fan as well. Crikey, I agree. I disagree, mate. I think Wolves will be all right. I do. Still think you'll be all right. I've got West Ham to go down, and I might regret that short choice because it's looking more and more like Everton could get pulled into it. Swifty, Henry better than Suarez for me. Certainly, listen, close. I can acknowledge that. Suarez and Henry very, very close. But for me, I think Suarez was more of a difference maker. Timbo Aguero was my fave Premier League striker for what you said. He was a crazy finisher and has amazing ability. He was, yeah. And Blake, I can see what you mean now. From a purist standpoint, Suarez was special. And FT for me, peak Torres and peak Suarez. I'd have Torres every day, but Suarez better player. Oh, see, Torres was more this group of players as well. I thought Torres was a really, really good finisher. He was a Shearer type, in and around the box, just lethal. But yeah, short peak. Delta Force, I think Peter Beardsley was very underrated. He was, yeah, very good player. Handsome Peter Beardsley as well, to give him his full title. Nottingham Forest with the ball in. Oh, it's going to go out for a goal kick. This has been a dreadful game, this. 3-star Reg, Dyche has gone all defensive now. He might as well have brought on 2 blokes carrying a sheet of plywood on to board up the Forest goal. If this finishes 0-0 now and Dyche costs me my bloody... I'm going to be raging. If Dyche costs me my Ackers tonight, I am raging. I need a goal from Forest. Missed a penalty. Morgan Gibbs-White is not my favourite player tonight. Blake, the appointment by Wolves, tell me they're preparing for life in the Championship. Actually, I think if he doesn't... I think if Rob Edwards gets relegated, I think he gets sacked. So if he does get appointed, I expect the contract length will be very telling. Because I reckon he gets appointed as manager till the end of the season, or on a 2-year contract, which is basically Wolves' way of saying, we'll give you the job, and we've got faith that you will keep us up, but we want to retain our right to not pay a massive amount of compensation if we sack you, later in the season, because it clearly isn't going to work. So maybe that's part of the contract. Maybe it's you get a massive bonus if you keep us up. But if you do take us down, we just part ways and there isn't like a massive compensation to pay. That might well be what the shift and the negotiation is. I don't know. Because Wolves, I'm sure, will be stinging at the fact that they gave Vitor Pereira an absolutely huge contract, didn't they? Weeks before they sacked him. And if you pay out, they've got to now pay out 2-3 years of compensation on that. So that's it's a very, very disappointing thing to have happened from a Wolves point of view. Swifty, Shearer was quick at Blackburn, superb in the air and shooting in and outside the box was deadly. And Lisha, not saying Ballon d'Or means the absolute be-all and end-all, but Van Basten won 3 Ballon d'Ors and retired at 30. Shocking from Forest. Timbo Slice, Torres was nowhere near Suarez. That's pure nostalgia tax. And Lisha, top 3 best players you'd ever watched then and why? Top 3 best players you'd ever watched. Suarez, Ronaldinho, Gerrard. 3-1 Midtjylland. Hatate with a penalty. Yeah, Suarez, Ronaldinho, Gerrard. I think Ronaldinho at his absolute peak was better than Ronaldo and Messi. That's one of my edgy takes, but it's not. I've been very clear. I've had stick for that for years. But I think Ronaldinho at his peak, I just incredible, just absolutely incredible. And I love Messi, I love Ronaldo too. They're great players, but Ronaldinho for me, just. And maybe that is a bit of nostalgia. I don't know. Me, it was at the time, growing up. I loved watching any game that involved Ronaldinho, and I think he made the game fun. And I think he was just an unbelievable. He was a beast. Players would bounce off him, and he could. You look at Messi, and sometimes Messi got a bit of stick about well, can he do it on a wet and windy night at Stoke, and all that. Ronaldinho was massive. Ronaldinho was throwing players around and still dropping the shoulder and doing flick flacks and then knocking it in the top corner and little back heels over his shoulder and everything. That was a great time to watch football. Ronaldinho's peak. So I loved Ronaldinho. Gerrard, him and Zidane, for me, amazing. And Suarez, the best centre forward I've ever seen. So they would be mine. They would be mine. Malmo 0, Panathinaikos 1, and Maradona the best player of all time. That's it, says FT Ihanom. And Swifty, I had the privilege of watching Ian Rush at Liverpool. Rushy was a very good player as well, yeah. I only caught the tail end of Ian Rush, but even then he was still a very, very good finisher. And this year, so Messi isn't the best player you'd ever seen. No, but maybe for different reasons. Maybe there's an element of enjoyment to it as well, I guess. If you're just talking pure stats, we can have conversations about that, but it's a personal preference, isn't it? It's all subjective, and for me, I think Ronaldo. I can understand people would disagree with. That's fine. People have Messi as their best of all time. Some people think Ronaldinho. Some people think Ronaldo is the best of all time. Some people think Maradona. Some people still think Pele. Some people think George Best. Some people think Kenny Dalglish. It's up to them. Everyone's got different opinions, but for me, Ronaldinho is my greatest of all time. Or certainly up there, and Suarez and Gerrard and very, very close behind. John Aldridge was lethal also. He was, yeah. Sat behind John Aldridge on a plane. Alex, what about that goal that Suarez scored against Norwich away? What about the goals he scored against Norwich at home? He scored against Norwich every other season. He was just banging 3 or 4 in against Norwich. Be yourself, Dylan. What a result for Aberdeen. I've not seen that. Swifty, I think Messi is the best I've ever seen, unless I meant purely factoring everything. I don't know. That's my. It's not meant to be edgy, because if you was to ask any of my mates, they'd tell you I've been saying this for years, even before I had the channel. I do. I think Ronaldinho is the best I've ever seen. At his very short peak. He only had a very short peak, as many Brazilians often do. But he was great. He was absolutely brilliant. Red Star 1, Lille 0. Marco Arnautovic with a winner for Red Star. Swifty, we don't have a player like Ronaldinho in football now. We don't. I think we've kind of coached it out to play. Do you know who the closest player would be? Honestly, the closest player I would have said to Ronaldinho was possibly Coutinho. Not that long ago, just before Barca paid the 140-odd million for him, when he was one of the best players in the world at that point. Coutinho, there was little vibes of that with him. But again, it was a short-lived peak with Coutinho. Same as Ronaldinho. They had maybe 2 or 3 seasons where they were unreal, and then it was a little bit, just tailed off very quickly. It's all systems now and a lack of flair. That's why I don't like Arteta. It's why I don't like Arteta. It's why I don't like Pep Guardiola. I feel like they overcoach players and they get the individualism. They kill individualism in football. So yeah, I'll never celebrate teams like that. Thierry Henry hated it with Pep Guardiola, didn't he? Thierry Henry is famous for saying that he went to Barcelona and he was like, Pep Guardiola, I hated being coached by him, because he was forever saying, I want you in this part of the pitch, and when the ball is here, I want you here, and you only go in this zone. If the ball is outside of this zone, it's not your problem. You go here, and you just do this, and you stay here, and it's very, very disciplined. And I can understand it, because obviously he was very successful, but Thierry Henry was like, nah, I grew up with I'm faster than the fullback. So if I get the ball, I'm having a go at the fullback. And I love that. I love that that's what football's about when you really get down to it is, I'm faster than you, I'm stronger than you, I can beat you for pure will, or I can do a bit of skill that can get past you, I can outwit you, whatever. I like that. No, I don't like systems. I'm not into systems. I want to see individual genius more than I want to see a system that works. That's just boring, isn't it? This year he was so lanky but still done what he done, and Ronaldinho was world class and a joy to watch. He was great, wasn't he? I loved him. I love watching Ronaldinho. I loved watching him at PSG, to be honest. I've got a PSG shirt down here somewhere with Ronaldinho on the back. Because I remember going to Paris when I was younger and I bought it and I was thinking he was great at PSG. I was so gutted when United were like, it was agreed, wasn't it? It was pretty much agreed that he was going United just before the 2002 World Cup, I think. Ronaldinho was so tall and still tricky. He's so fast as well, wasn't he? He was tall, fast, strong. He was kind of like Erling Haaland mixed with Neymar. Oh, what a strike off the bar from Forest. Very nearly. Phew, unlucky. Blake Griffin, systems are required in the game. Watching Pep's Bayern 3-4-3 was special. Again, it's all about... I mean, that's German efficiency, innit? Again, I don't know. It depends what you want from games of football, I guess. 3-star Red says, glad Martin Keown is impressed because I am not. And Delta Force, do you think Eddie is the right manager to take Newcastle forward? And do you think he is a future England manager? I think he probably is a future England manager. But as far as if he's the right manager to take Newcastle forward, I don't think you can sack him. You shouldn't sack him. James Duffy, be surprised if Edwards goes there. He's got a good thing going at Borough. I mean, Borough aren't doing great though, are they? Swifty, Brazil are a shadow of what they were. The flair in the 82 squad was something else, yeah. The great Zico. This year, that's one Brazilian you like, but not so much you say about Neymar. No, I don't like Neymar. I don't rate Neymar. Yeah, no, I don't rate Neymar. Neymar for me was a lot more style, less substance, and I didn't like his values as a player, which I know like I don't ever feel like. So I think Ronaldinho, I don't think work rate was ever really an issue with Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was unbelievable and he worked his socks off as well. There was a humility to Ronaldinho. Neymar just felt like he was so arrogant and he always carried himself like he was the best player in the world, but he never was. There was so many times he let his side down, and yeah, I always think of Neymar as like the ultimate prima donna. For me, players like Neymar and Pogba are liked by people whose values in terms of football I just never will. I'll never align with them. Pogba's and Neymars of this world are not that's not my style at all. Not sure I've ever seen a midfielder as elegant as Socrates. And he smoked 30 a day, didn't he, Socrates? Chain smoked while being one of the best midfielders in football. Socrates, Zico, Garrincha, some great players in that Brazil side. What we saying? Sorry, 3-star Reds, no chance of getting a goal. Key and Jordan, don't worry, Palace will win with that team. Delta Force, I think Ronaldinho is on the dole now, meant to be skint. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of players, ex-players, do go bankrupt, don't they? Because they've kept up the lavish lifestyle for a long time, and it just fades very quickly if you spend a lot of money very quickly on poor things and squander it. I mean, George Best did the same. These are young men who aren't really they're not really trained for life and the modern world and jobs and finances and how to do it. No, they have the career and then they buy a boat for 2-3 million quid and then realise it costs a fortune to moor a yacht or whatever, a super yacht. It's all stupid stuff in it. Taylor H, it's been a very bad and boring game, this one. It has 0-0, really poor. Very, very poor. AEK have equalised against Shamrock Rovers. And Salzburg 2, Go Ahead Eagles 0. Celje have beaten Legia Warsaw 2-1. Nice. I can't believe Forest, honestly. It's been such a poor game, this one. Come on, maybe a chance here. Nick one before the end. Get it in the box. Who's that? He's crap, him. He's absolutely crap. Shocking. Well, I'll be back in like 10 minutes. It's finished. It's finished 0-0. Shite. Absolutely shite, these. There you go. 0-0 in Sturm Graz. Sean Dyche keeping a clean sheet at least. But listen, I'm going to be watching Crystal Palace against AZ Alkmaar now. If you want to turn over, make sure you've gone over to YouTube, followed Key Thomas, subscribe, Premier League Dad. Make sure you go and subscribe and follow. Make sure you followed up here. Click follow on TikTok as well and on Twitch. Make sure you've gone over to X as well. Search me up on X. I tweet every day on X. Go and follow me over there, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so for Crystal Palace against AZ Alkmaar. Take it easy. Vilanga, before you go, tell me Bale or Saka. Bale. That's not even